Hey guys, my name is Ryan, and welcome to Overwatch Central. So this is one of those videos that I can already imagine people like, what the hell, like get to the point straight away, but to sort of set the scene we need to go over the news that came out today. Now for some time most of you noticed that people have thought the supports get less skill rating than other heroes. What I mean by that is on a win, a Mercy player would get maybe sort of 20 to 30 SR, whereas a DPS in the same game might get 30 to 40. The issue with that is it's really anecdotal. There's no hard evidence to suggest that this would be happening other than players' experiences, logging their statistics. And whilst there was some sort of correlation there, it's hard to say whether there is causation there as well. Before we get started, I do want to ask you guys in the comments below to put whether you think that you're getting less SR than other heroes, whether you play a lot of Mercy and you think that, or whether you play supports and the like and feel that you get a decent amount of SR. Because when it comes to information like this, anecdotal experience, the more evidence and information we have, the better. And this is the kind of stuff that we can go to Blizzard with and go, look at all of these people saying that they're not getting as much SR as they should be. So this has been a pretty heavy topic over the last week or so. It sort of started with Mercy having a bug that got a less SR than other heroes, but again, we don't necessarily know that for sure. When Blizzard responded on it, they really sort of neither confirmed nor denied that it was happening. They just said that they would look into it. You know, it's not as if like Blizzard sort of planned that to happen, like, yeah, let's give Mercy less SR than other heroes, let's add that into the game. Well, the reason why we sort of wanted to bring this up and why we think that one-trick ponies and off-meta heroes might be gaining more SR, it comes from a Scott Mercer post. Now, most of you may have read this by now, but it basically goes over the whole debate and says that there is no reason why supports would be gaining less skill rating than other heroes in particular. Now, he goes on to discuss how assist scoring was a little bit broken in a previous patch, but that didn't necessarily have any bearing on how much SR you would get. Similarly, he talks about on fire and how that is the same, but this is the really important bit that I wanted to highlight. This kind of answers a lot of questions on how matchmaking actually works. The calculation of your SR adjustment after a match doesn't look at your teammates, but instead compares you to the performance of other similarly skilled players with that hero across an enormous pool of competitive matches. So we compare your Genji play to the play of other Genjis, Annas versus Annas at your level, and since we're comparing apples to apples, we shouldn't see any kind of support specific bias in SR adjustments due to player performances. So whilst supports overall don't get less than Soldier just because they're supports, this kind of answers a big problem. Now, to also set the scene, we need to discuss a thread that was on the competitive Overwatch subreddit of a Sombra player discussing how much skill rating he was getting per win compared to other heroes, and also how little he lost when he did lose. You can find all of the sort of forum post and that thread in the description below, but as you see on the stats, he gains a lot from playing Sombra. Now, again, this is an anecdotal correlation thing, but with what Scott Mercer said here, it looks kind of likely that playing heroes that don't have a lot of comparisons necessarily may do better overall. What do I mean by that? Well, let's say for example, Mercy is a really popular pick. She's incredibly effective, low on mechanical skill compared to someone like a Genji or Soldier, and some players prefer to play like that. Now, statistically speaking, there isn't much difference between a Mercy that does alright throughout the game versus one that does incredibly well. So when it comes to skill rating, there isn't going to be too much of a gulf in between Mercy that did okay and Mercy that did amazing, simply because there are a lot of Mercies in the game. On average, you do about the same sort of healing margins between, because there are a lot of Mercies that play in, let's say, low diamond, where the Sombra player was. The game is comparing you to other Mercies, which there are a lot of, and sort of giving you a low SR because of how many statistics they have to play with. Now saying that, let's go back to the Sombra. Not many people sort of play Sombra at all, never mind at a sort of diamond level. So if this person picks up Sombra and plays incredibly well, you know, a decent amount of damage, eliminations, hacks I suppose as well, comparing it to not a lot of Sombras in that skill tier, and also a lot of Sombras that are troll picks and throw in the game, playing incredibly well on a Sombra will get you more SR because compared to other Sombras in that level, there's a huge gulf in statistics. That could be the way that one of the system works, which is also why you see some Hanzo players, Torbjorn, and these off-meta picks sometimes get more SR than other heroes and other players that you're grouped up with, especially those that play Reinhardt and basically all of the support. So you start to see what the trend is now, that Lucio, Mercy, and Anna are heroes that are picked a lot of the time, and they're probably the ones that get shafted the most when it comes to SR, compared to Symmetra and Zenyatta, which are picked a little bit less, but are still pretty strong picks. This also kind of boosts the idea that one-trick ponies can climb a little bit more because they get better at playing one hero, they learn to do more more damage on Genji or on Zarya or on Roadhog to get more eliminations. So their statistics compared to a player that sort of picks Roadhog up now and again is a lot stronger because they're more consistent on it. So this comparing heroes to heroes, I don't necessarily think is a great way of going about it. And it just seems to me that every time I hear about matchmaking and how the hidden MMR and the skill rating works, the more confusing and convoluted and messy it gets. And that's kind of frustrating from somebody that plays a lot of the game. When he compares playing heroes with statistics, maybe on the same map, it's only so far it can go. Websites like Master Overwatch and Overbuff only paint half of the picture, right? There's much more context and reason and ways that you could play well without necessarily relying on statistics, especially heroes like Reinhardt, Lucio and Mercy. So support heroes aren't necessarily being shafted with their SR. However, playing these heroes that are incredibly popular, the Blizzard have a lot of statistics on, and you play a, somewhat average game on a Mercy, even if you, team res the team and save the day plenty of times, you won't gain as much SR as a Hanzo player that is top of eliminations and damage and stuff like that, because that player is excelling in his hero pool, whereas there's so many of you that it's hard to see an amazing Mercy compared to thousands of others. I hope that sort of made my point. It's a little bit of a confusing topic, but I did want to discuss the fact that one-trick ponies and off-meta heroes can and most likely will gain more SR than other heroes that are more popular, but only if you could play them pretty well. You know what I mean? But that's it for this time. Thank you very much for watching. As I said at the start of the video, do let us know whether you feel that you're getting less SR than other heroes, or whether you think that the system is okay. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, really helps out the channel. And until next time, take care. We'll see you then.